Hey, what's up? It's Jimmy Dimmy here, back with another video, and I really hope all you guys are doing well. We got some really great news from 2K yesterday on July 17th, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to just kind of dive into it and give my 2 cents on the rollout. So I'm going to pop up the rollout on my screen pretty shortly, and pretty much it's just going to detail each week of that 2K is going to, give us some more information about 2K26. And usually when 2K says the week of, it's usually on that Tuesday or that Thursday of that week, sometimes Friday, if they're generous, and that's usually when we'll find out some information. So for example, the week of July 28th, they're going to show gameplay with pro play. So the week of July 28th, the 28th is a Monday, so my guess is they'll probably show information about the game on the 29th as well as the 31st. Thursdays tend to seem like a theme, especially last year and this year, where they'll talk about the game a little bit more. So I would always look out for sure on Thursday for us to get information, but probably a couple days before then too, just to kind of get us hyped for Thursday's reveal. So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about pro play. So pro play, it looks like that things are going to be realistic again, but 2K has the idea of giving us more freedom, so skill-based stick control. And I think that's kind of what, I don't play Madden, but that's what Madden's always kind of pride themselves on, at least back in the day. And definitely you kind of get that vibe with college football. The game is like faster. So it's pretty much who is better at the sticks when you're playing, head to head and stuff like that. That's just, my opinion. And I think 2K is kind of going to do the same thing. They've already said that pro play and other gameplay is going to be, kind of sped up. So I think they're going to have an emphasis on that. Probably, hopefully, input control is improved. So whether it's your shot, you gotta time your shot right. They're already gonna do green or miss on certain online modes. You gotta time your blocks right, your steals right, and then hopefully they get rebounding right, because rebounding in 2K25, the RNG was bad. Like before in previous 2Ks, I would play in rec or just online. I could get as many rebounds as I want because I understood, positioning, boxing out, all that stuff. And on top of that, I've always focused my attribute and badges to focus on rebounding. So I love rebounding, but for whatever reason, 2K25, they would just cap you. I think the most rebounds I've ever gotten, it was like 30 something with my JaVale McGee build. You could check out that video if you're interested on it. But yeah, I mean, I am excited. I'm glad 2K is kind of putting an emphasis on the stick skills. Hopefully they don't overkill it. I mean, usually what happens is that 2K, one year, they'll do something really bad, so the next year they kind of overcorrect it, and it just is like, okay, we asked for this, but we didn't really ask for this. And that's kind of what I'm afraid with 2K doing. But just overall with the entire game, but we'll see. But so far everything kind of sounds good. And also too, layups. So this is kind of what I want to talk about. So with layups, man, I don't know if you guys when was your guys' first 2K or first basketball game? For me, I've been playing basketball games my whole entire life. I played 2K from the very beginning. I played the NBA Streets and so on and so forth. And what happens with layups? You guys are probably already thinking it. I hope so. You don't time your layup. You're right next to the basket. You're an NBA player. You run to the basket. You're going to make it. Now, I believe his name is Evan. I really like Evan. I hope I'm not butchering his name, but he talks with stacks. But he said if you're wide open, you're not going to miss the layup in 2K26. I really hope that's the truth. I hope we could see the layup green window when we're doing like floaters and so on and so forth, because I really like kind of patting my game, and I don't know if that's the right term, but I really put floaters in my game. Sometimes I turn on the layup meter and sometimes I don't. But hopefully, it's just fair. I just want the game to make sense. But yeah, it looks like 2K is also having an emphasis on contact and footwork and defensive counters on and off the ball. We'll see if that's true. I know they said, I think it was Azar or someone said, when they make a emphasis on, footwork and planting and stuff like that, sometimes realism has to take over pretty much our user control, essentially. I don't want to misquote him, so if I am, please put in the comments what he was actually saying, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of what he was getting at. Then also what they plan on talking about in the My Player Builder is pretty much body types. I do like that feature, but I don't think it was worthy of bringing up in the live stream. Okay, we get to check our body types. Cool, I guess. You guys want to talk about that, but not show even a speck of gameplay. Cool. They said a balanced build system, so pretty much mainly just or really build variety, I should say. So because I think that's what 2K18, people hate on 2K18 and or some people hate on 19. People love 20. I think 20 is overhyped, but what we all loved about those years is that there was a lot of build variety, and it was because you could have, I think my two-way slasher on 2K18, one of my favorite builds ever, he had a 62 3-point shot, but I was able to shoot threes with him. Now, I wasn't able to spark with him, but if I was wide open, I was hitting it. Especially when I was on fire. Because they didn't have takeover in 2K18. It was just you get a little fire icon. Those were the days. 2K18. People hate on 2K18. I had a decent time, man. And maybe I'll talk about that more later. But 2K19, same thing. Build variety because you could shoot on a low 3. 6'10 lockdowns. One of my favorite builds ever that I made. I was able to hit wide open, and that was better. I think I had a lower 3. I think I had a 61 or 59 3, and I was able to shoot pretty well. And then 2K20, I didn't make a low shooting build. I ended up making a 99 3 build, and I was able to spark it. But I feel 2K caught on to my jumper and patched it. Because I knew my jump shot. It was an easy super jump shot. It was pretty much Gilbert Arenas, and I think Gilbert Arenas had 2K20 Gilbert Arenas. It was Kobe base and someone else's release. I totally forgot, but it was so easy, and I was sparking with it, and then they just they were nope. But anywho, I'm long-winded, but that is what's going to make 2K26 very fun, is having build variety. And one of the ways that you could achieve build variety is having lower 3s on your builds, if you get what I'm saying. They also talked about cap breakers and takeover. So in my prediction video, I did talk about cap breakers coming back. So that's great. A lot of people love cap breakers. I never even got any cap breakers this year because I was too busy grinding my no money spent builds, and I wasn't playing online with my no money spent builds for a while, and the game just kind of sucked for me, so I kind of just gave up on getting cap breakers. But definitely with 2K26, I'm for sure going to get cap breakers. I know what to do now with my no money spent grind. So my team, they're going to talk about my team. I'm not the biggest fan of my team personally. I think they kind of used and abused the community, and I just don't rock with that. But one of the things that I do rock with, which is kind of cool, is that they're doing 10K every weekend for King of the Court. Wow. Wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. They're gonna detail that more. I'm not a My Team player at all. I don't understand it. I hate when I get into the game and I can't skip like pulling a card or the Ascension and stuff like that. It just has you stuck like freaking flipping cards and stuff. Like, what's the point of that? Someone tell me in the comments, please. I don't get it. So I'm off that. But what I'm on is my career. And how cool is it that they're calling it Out of Bounds, the Out of Bounds story. And thank you 2K. I was just talking about this in my Spike Lee video. Go ahead and check that out. How they're talking about draft stock. So you can get drafted by a random team. Let's go. That's so realistic. And then I love how, for example, if you want to choose your team, you could ask for a private workout. You could ask for a private workout and potentially get drafted by your favorite team. Like one of my favorite team is the Lakers. And now that Damian Lillard is going back to the Blazers, he's one of my favorite players ever. Like, I get to play with Damian Lillard on the Blazers. I could choose, or I could potentially get drafted I really like the Jazz's uniforms, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm hoping I could play with dude from Florida and Ace Bailey. Like, that'd be cool. And also too, they're talking about your agent. So if you don't hit certain goals, your agent can't get you like the best deal possible. So who's gonna be our agent? Is it gonna be Dom Pagnotti? I'm butchering his name, but this is one take, y'all. I'm butchering his name. Wouldn't it be dope if his son is our agent? Like, I don't know if you guys know, but his son used to play on one of the teams in 2K16. So what if he's an agent now and he's our agent? Oh, bro, man. Like, I swear. Come on, 2K. That's easy. And that'll make us all happy. But yeah, the next thing is my NBA. They talked about dynamic championship banners. I don't really care about that, but it is a nice little addition. I am a huge fan of my NBA. I always play it towards the end of every year, when I'm not really feeling playing park or rec or whatnot. I always go to my career and just kind of tweak the game to my liking. I'm always playing fixed sliders when I'm hopping on rec and park, that when I play my NBA, I get to make the sliders how I want to make it. And so every single year I'm pretty excited for it. What I will say, I hope for my NBA they do talk about, for example, adding better eras. So I would love to be Wilt Chamberlain in the 50s or 60s or whatnot, and just freaking dunking on plumbers and freaking school teachers and freaking meat cutters and stuff. Or butchers, I should say. I would love that. I would love that, to be a 99 Wilt Chamberlain and I'm playing against 50 overalls and I'm just freaking doing whatever I want on the court. That would be lit. That'd be lit. I was about to say something unhinged too. I was gonna say, like, what they add in the storyline, they told Wilt Chamberlain to go to the colors only fountain, and he gets pissed, and so his stats are plus 200 in every category, and he's just fucking dunking on all the white dudes and shit. Like, that would be lit, but that's never gonna get in the game. That's unhinged. So yeah, I let me continue. Also, two more things. I would love if 2K added like an ABA eras, and then when you play through the ABA, you get to a certain point and then it merges to the NBA. I think that would be dope. It would be cool to just play with David Thompson. I think he played in ABA, I'm pretty sure. Julius, Dr. J, that'd be dope. George Gervin, they all played in the ABA. It'd be really cool to, play that, and have all the jerseys and the courts and everything. Maybe make it a little bit more fun. Maybe it's arcadey within my NBA eras. That would be cool. have the NBA play a little bit more simulation like, but the ABA is more like, like it was just more entertaining. I think that's why they merged together, is because the ABA was more entertaining. They had the better players and stuff like that, and the NBA just wasn't having it. And then lastly, I really hope that 2K gets you could go to specific drafts. I hate downloading people's scenarios and stuff like that. Like, for example, I just want to go straight to the 1996 draft, but usually what I have to do that is download someone's scenario that isn't perfect, or I could just start in the Jordan era, which is in 1992, I believe, and then simulate to 1996. I don't like, wading through simulating all the seasons and stuff like that. So it'd be cool if, my NBA had like a little draft features where we could just go to any off season, any draft, and just start there. So for now with the city, it looks like the city's going to be a little bit more compact, have realistic courts. Uncle Demi, and no relation. I'm Jimmy Demi, no relation to Uncle Demi. But hey, if you want to work together, let me know. But anywho, I believe he was bringing up that Rucker Park might make a return. I don't know if he said return, but back in the early 2Ks, you could play at Rucker Park. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but back in the day, you could definitely do it. And so if that was to return, how amazing would that be? But that would make sense because the NBA, Adam Silver actually had a conversation with Jeff Teague, his podcast, about how the NBA wants to have a better relationship, or they have already a relationship with Rucker Park and, just other street ball venues and stuff like that. Pretty much just saying anything non-NBA related but still basketball related, they want to kind of have a hand in. And I'm paraphrasing from him, but check out that podcast for yourself. It's pretty cool. But yeah, he was talking about that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rucker or Venice Beach or these other courts end up making it into NBA 2K26, and that would just be amazing. It would be cool if we get like a little neighborhood that we could, kind of walk around. You could still put ads in 2K. You could still have the billboards and everything, yada, yada, yada. But it would be really nice if we could, maybe even travel, or, maybe Rucker Park's right around the corner. I think pretty much just capitalizing or building on 2K16. Just kind of the vibe, or even 2K15, the vibe of Old Town and Sunset and so on and so forth. Just like maybe just build on that. Like you could run or walk or fly to your park instead of waiting on the spot. Like a game's already ready, just bringing your duffel bag, with your gear, and throwing on your new shoes, your new fit, and just hopping on the court just to hoop. That'd be cool. More realistic parks, instead of getting Transformer parks and all that stuff and feeling like, I don't know, just Fortnite-ish. Like, this is basketball. Let's play basketball, like. So I love that they're going with the realistic court direction. I also love that they're changing the lighting. I won't go into detail about that, but consistent lighting is what they were highlighting. Leaderboards, 12-foot statues for top players. That's kind of cool and everything. I'm not too interested in that. Definitely leaderboards. You got to have that in every competitive online setting. But what I am super excited about is that I do believe that we're going to be able to shatter the backboard. And I'll try to, put that picture somewhere. But being able just to freaking slam it like chocolate thunder. Sorry, I know I'm cringing out, but I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped. Daryl Dawkins, bro. Go look up some Daryl Dawkins highlights and come back, and you'll be saying chocolate thunder just like that, bro. He freaking like took the rim off, bro. Freaking glass everywhere. And he was able to do that like back to back, I think. Like games. Bro, he was just built different, bro. He was just built different. And also the rims were built different too. But yeah. So that pretty much wraps everything up here. I really appreciate you guys, tuning into my video again. Please like the video, comment. I want to, create some type of discourse around, these topics. Love to hear what you guys have to say. If there's anything that I missed or anything you want to talk about, yeah, just put it in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel as well. I'm going to be, whenever I have the time, I'm going to be talking about this stuff for sure. I love talking about 2K and just basketball. So, yeah, very excited about 2K26. Love hearing all the news. I definitely do want to hear about, VC payouts per game and street ball and all that stuff, but we'll have to see. Maybe they'll disclose that information, but if not, it's definitely something that I'm going to be looking into day one. So for me, day one would be that August 29th date. So yeah, but definitely love y'all. Really appreciate it again. And until next time, peace.